So I made a lot of plaster when I made the tree guardian, and I figured that if I sealed it, it wasn't gonna dry. I was wrong. Okay, so there's nothing like a happy accident, and I'm not about to let all this plaster go to waste. I'm about to make some rocks out of them, okay? But the first thing I want to do here is get it out of the bucket. The next thing I'm going to do is actually get rid of all the flat surfaces that is not the bottom. So I'm going to take my hammer and get to that. Before I spray paint it, I need to get rid of all the dust, so I just go ahead and clean it off right here, and then I spray paint it with black paint or black primer. After spray painting it, make sure to let it dry 100%, unlike me. But when it dries, add a Mod Podge mix to it to make it even tougher. Matter of fact, add another one on top of it, just cause I'm paranoid like that. I don't trust my players. Next, you're gonna have to eat a lot of cereal, get a box, and outline where your rock will go. I chose thin cardboard this time around because when I put it on top of the mat, I don't want to step. I want to try to keep it as smooth as possible. Alright, and then after, you get that hot glue and you glue it in. Some of these rocks are gonna go on the grass and other ones are gonna go on the water. So for the ones in the water, I'm gonna get some paper mache and make some waves out of it. Attempt to make waves. Now to avoid warping, which I don't do here, I get to it eventually. Just make sure that you don't have a lot of cardboard. The smaller the cardboard piece is, the less warping it's gonna do. When making waves with paper mache, the most important thing is to make sure to pull at the very end where the waves are. That way you'll get the effect of the waves. Okay, so when it dried, I noticed a little bit of a warp, so I just went ahead and cut it out. This is what I mean. You want this to be as small as possible. You want there to be the least amount of water, if that's even how you word it. Yep, onto the painting. We're gonna start off with a very dark gray. Then we're gonna work our way onto a concrete gray and eventually onto a very light gray. And as you can tell in the background, you don't have to make waves for all of these pieces. The ones in the background, they're just the base is simply painted like water, which, like I mentioned in the other video, I am gonna get to make lighter. I start adding another coat of the light gray, but only on certain spots. The spots that are hit by light the most. And the very last step is to go over those same places, but this time with a dry brush white. This right here is the first mistake in the build. I don't know why I did it. I didn't use the same blues that I used in my mat. I'm so used to using these colors right now for my bases that I didn't even think about making them look like my mat, which looking back at it, I don't know what was going through my head. I think I was just in crafting mode and my body was just doing whatever it did, you know? And another thing, I have no idea why I'm using my Citadel paints on terrain. I actually enjoy using the apple barrels better for terrain. So, I don't know what happened here. When I get to the actual waves, I actually don't paint most of the waves. I leave more than half of the top white. Eventually I do get to them, but with the lighter colors. If you're looking for a more detailed version on how to make your waves and how to paint your waves, check out my other video here. Alright, and like I said before, we're not gonna make them all wavy. They're not all gonna be in the ocean. The one I'm doing right here is gonna be grass. So I start by painting the base with a little bit of brown, and eventually I get to add some glue and start putting some homemade grass foliage on the piece. After that, I make sure to solidify it by spraying it with half water and half glue. And here I'm just painting up the rocks that are gonna go in the water that won't have any waves, just in case a lot of you want to see how I do that. I don't want to say I don't put a lot of effort into painting it, but I don't think about it too much. I just want the effect of it. And like I said, the only mistake I made here was making that first tone of blue too dark.
That's just a stupid boulder!
It's not just a boulder! It's a rock! A rock! A rock! It's a big, beautiful, old rock!
Thank you very much again for watching another episode of Franky D Crafter. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll catch you on the flippity side.